was just miserable, and I'm happy that I'm not in that space anymore. And I'm like kind of kicking myself. Why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I sit idle for so long?
Welcome back to another client interview version of the Kettlebell Guys podcast. Today we have Mr. Halliday. Am I saying your last name correct, Adam?
That is correct.
Amazing. Yeah. Adam, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Adam, why don't we kick it off by just introducing yourself, where you're from, what do you do for work, a little background, and then kind of what led you to KT in the first place?
All right. Well, my name's Adam Halliday. I am from Maryland, Annapolis. So right in the dead center of the Mid-Atlantic. And so I work as a power electronics engineer in the space sector. Asking me what I do is a very interesting question. I do a lot. So I also run my own sound and DJ business. I work for a whole bunch of other companies. So I have a 9 to 5, then I have my weekend job, then, I'm never not busy. Went to the doctor after not going to the doctor for a really long time, and basically they were just like, we should send you to the emergency room right now.
No.
So I had ridiculously high blood pressure to the point where they're like, you could pretty much keel over at any point. So high stress job, high stress, clients on the weekends, never really stopping, eating horribly, just, trying to survive any way I possibly could. And I got scared really bad and was like, I need to make a change. I tried on my own for a year. Tried to get back into doing, I'm not really sure whether I can mention other types of, am I allowed to mention other types of workout?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I tried to get back into doing CrossFit. I have a history of doing CrossFit, but, I dropped out of that because I got hurt, went through a breakup, then didn't really find a way back into it. And then continued eating like a power lifter for over a decade. Without lifting heavy. So I tried that again. Wasn't really what I wanted. I got really lucky with the initial community that I found myself in, and it was really supportive, but I couldn't find that later. And it also got to the point where, my schedule and all these other things, it got really hard to actually get to the gym and do these things because that is very, time scheduled workout time every day. So it's either you hit this hour, or this hour, and it just never really worked for me. And then I just tried to do things on my own, and, I ended up losing like 20 pounds the first year, but, I went back to see my doctor and they were like, well, you did something, it's more than most people do. But, at that point I was just like, well, I have to really do something. So,
wow.
And found my way, social media. I've always had kind of a love of strongman type of things. Like, you put me in front of an Atlas stone and I'm the happiest person on the planet. Yeah. So when the kettlebell thing came up, it was like, I'm familiar with this. I think that I can do this. Had a talk. I cannot remember the person I talked to initially, but they were also like, I play beer league hockey. They were also a hockey player. So
yeah,
kind of
Casey.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. So kind of had a good rapport, and I just kind of decided to pull the trigger on it and just go all in. So, yeah.
So, Adam, when you joined KT, had you seen our stuff a lot, or did you just like randomly get served an ad and then you were like, oh, this looks good, I'm going to try it out? Or what was that like?
I think I saw the ad probably a few times over the course of a couple weeks, and initially was looking at it, I was like, should I schedule a consultation or something, and I just ended up, not really doing it. And I kept seeing it and kept seeing it, and eventually it was just like, all right, well, I need to check this out. You know, what's the harm in talking to somebody about it? So
Yeah. Was there any one thing in particular? I know you mentioned, put me in front of an Atlas stone, I'm happy, so that you kind of had that familiarity with kettlebells. You mentioned simplicity. What was like the thing about the ads that you kept seeing that made you be like, okay, this over all the other ads that I might be seeing felt like the right move?
I think it was more of just the idea that, well, it wasn't so much the idea that people were CEOs or had their own businesses or anything like that, because that's not really kind of who I am. But the way people talked to us, kind of like, okay, these are just normal people. I think that was kind of the appeal to me, is that it wasn't necessarily like the everyday guy, but it was like, these people are real people. It's not just some like stage kind of thing going on. So like what I'm so used to with social media and just like the fakeness of this and that, it was real. And that's what kind of attracted me to it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. That's good to hear. So when you came to us, I have your initial photos pulled up, and I won't share those now, but you were referencing how you went to the doctor. It sounds like you lost 20 pounds in the year that you went back to CrossFit. So when you joined KT, if I'm not mistaken, it seems like you were maybe around 263 or so. Was that 20 pounds down from where you were at your height when you saw the doctor and they said, hey, you got to make a change?
yeah.
Okay,
So
so you got down to 263 in the year and then you joined KT. Is that correct? Okay, okay. And how old are you? Just
I am, how old am I? 44?
44? Okay. So you're 44, you're 263, you spent a year kind of trying to do it on your own, and you decided I'm ready to go get some help.
Yeah.
And you had a combo with Casey, and he played beer league hockey just like you. So you're like,
Yes,
okay, this dude's legit.
Yeah. So
That's
I think a lot of it was the support and accountability, and just having someone kind of saying, if I were to falter, you're like, no, you gotta keep doing this. So I think that was the initial. I think that was the biggest reason why I started seeking out kind of programs in general.
Yeah.
you were looking for the coaching aspect. You were looking for like the real. And it's funny you say you guys what you saw seemed real, like real guys. That's like kind of what I wish for pretty much all of our prospects who like come into our world, is to realize that like this company is just like a bunch of very real dudes, just normal guys. There are others in the industry that are very flashy marketing that could be pretty, I guess for some people could be pretty intimidating, of just like, I don't know, that doesn't look like my crew. But for us, it's just like, man, I wish that for every guy. It's just like, dude, we're just like the normal humans here who are dealing with all of life and the ups and the downs that everyone deals with. Uh, just trying to do our freaking best when it comes to our health and everything that comes with it.
And I was
But
going to say, Grant, I found it interesting, Adam, that you said you didn't necessarily resonate with like the CEO running your own business, even though you are running your own business, right?
right,
But like, so that's interesting to me. And I'm being completely selfish here because I put together most of the marketing. So like, I'm like getting my intel right now from you, but also trying to truly understand your story and like where you came from. Because obviously, as we kind of talk about the transformation you've made, it's been outstanding. And
right.
it's the type of results that we wish for every guy who comes into this program. And I'm very interested to hear about your journey from that perspective, like once you started. But it's always really interesting to hear from a guy what actually made him take action. Because, like you said, when you went to the doctor, you said you've done something. It's more than what most people do, right? But you obviously weren't satisfied with what you had done to that point.
Right.
So to get into your mindset of why you ended up pulling the trigger. So was there a lot of fear for you around like when you actually did sign up, or were you kind of like, all right, I'm in, I'm going to get these amazing results? Like, what was that like?
For me, I don't think there was much fear. It was more that first week. I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like I'm kind of ready to go. Like let's
Antsy.
do this. Let's do this.
Start the program.
And there was the build up, and the like sitting down with Ray and like having like going through the movements, making sure I was doing everything correctly, and you know, having that like CrossFit mindset. It's kind of like, oh well, I already know this, so don't like, I've done a Turkish get up before. I've done kettlebell swings, and I was like, okay, I'm not really doing this correctly. So.
Damn you, Ray. Love that. Was that, I mean, were you able to kind of shift into a, all right, I'll be a student again mode pretty quickly with Ray? I feel like Ray is good at navigating that side of things. He's kind of been there, done that. But a lot of guys come with your same attitude, like, dude, I know what I'm doing. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm always willing to listen to what other people are telling me and try to take that in and just kind of adapt to what that is. And especially when it's like, well, if you do this, you're gonna end up hurting yourself. If you don't take the time and build up to it, you're gonna hurt yourself. And that was the one thing that I did not want to do. So in order to make progress, you have to stay healthy, and you have to be smart about those things. So
Yeah.
I
Amen.
So Sean kind of alluded to it already. You've had a pretty incredible transformation. Let's let people who are listening to this or watching this, let's let them in on what you've actually achieved. You said when you came to KT, one of the things you were looking for was like coaching, the actual accountability. Someone's not going to let you off the hook, right? But so you were 280s. You came to KT, you're around 263 when you started. What was your main goal? Like when you decided to join KT, what did you want to achieve? And then have you gone past that? Where are you ultimately at now?
So my initial goal in the ultimate goal was to get off the medications that I'm on. That was one thing, and just to honestly feel better, like, and not wake up and have back pain every day, and be able to move again, and all of the things that go into the things that I like to do, like playing hockey. Like like it's when you're carrying a ton of extra weight, it's really difficult to move around, and it's so. Yeah.
So what was the goal for you then when you came in? Was it a weight loss predominant goal? Obviously moving better and feeling better. Did you have any like physique type of goals or anything like that?
Well, I wanted to get down to 220, which I wasn't sure was even possible. So at this point, I'm fluctuating between 209, 211, back and forth. And it's honestly like I'm really happy with where I'm at right now, where I just kind of want to build back. Like I'm kind of the person that I don't want to get like too skinny. Like I don't really care about being shredded. I just want to feel strong and feel like I'm, just feel good about doing everything. So yeah. So
263 to 209.
yeah.
It's pretty good. What's the time frame there? You joined in August?
So I think it was I think I was in the middle of my first or second week of the program when we started the challenge.
Right. So
that was
start of September.
16-ish weeks to get down to about, I think when we ended the challenge, I was 220 or 215, somewhere in that ballpark. Or no, I think I was right above 220. So I was just about to hit my goal, and then I just kept going because that's just kind of my mindset now.
Yeah. Keep doing what got you there.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man. So how has your performance in the things that you love doing? Have you noticed any carryover there? Hockey, and I think you're a snowboarder, right? I see your snowboard back there.
Yeah.
Have you felt any difference there?
Absolutely. So my hockey team immediately was just like, you're moving so much better. I'm scoring goals more. And I can play a whole game and I don't feel like I'm gassed at all. So I guess it's the kind of the ultimate form of like it's that every minute on the minute kind of thing when it comes to hockey. So it's just like, right. I have like a gas tank again. So also with snowboarding, the friends I go snowboarding with, they're just like, you need to chill out. You need to like, it's so intense. And I'm like, well, why? this is what we're here to do. I don't want to go to the bar. I just want to ride all day. So, yeah. So.
Well, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is
You guys
cool.
need to swing some kettlebells so you can keep up with me. Come on, boys.
Yeah, and there have been some comments of like, man, I feel like I'm in such good shape, and I'm like, well, I don't know, are you?
Are you?
Has been pulled back.
So
Anything unexpected for you, Adam? Any kind of like, well, I didn't think that was going to happen, and maybe not. But I'm genuinely curious.
I mean, honestly, getting down to the weight that I'm at now, like that was a huge thing. Like I did not think that I could do that when I was doing CrossFit, and I was a much smaller person at that point. I think the smallest or the lightest I got was 215. So I, you know, I'm no stranger to carrying heavy equipment. Like speakers are, can be anywhere from like 60 to 90 pounds. So I'm like farmers carrying those things, all lifting those over my head. That's a normal thing for me. So I know that I've like built strength over the years, but at that point I just didn't really think that I could get I didn't think I could get any smaller than 220. And I'm not like using smaller as like, it's not really smaller because I feel like, I don't know. With muscle, I know muscle weighs more than fat. So it's just one of those things where you're kind of like, can I actually do this? And so that was the challenge.
I think what happens sometimes for guys is they'll get down, they'll continue to lose weight. Like they won't. Sometimes guys will come to us to be like to say the same thing, right? They're like, I don't want to get too skinny, right? And they think that like there's this disconnect between realizing like what happens when you lose weight, but you also get strong. Like you actually train with heavier bells. Like you don't really get skinny. And I think a lot of guys can surprise themselves at like the numbers that they can get to where they still feel great. Like I bet you could probably if you but just doing what you've been doing up until now, because how tall are you, Adam? Yeah, you're 6'2", right? So like you could probably go to 205, 200, and almost like not even realize it. And like I bet you could hypothetically there could be this situation where you could see 199 on the scale, but feel fine, feel great, right? Not that that needs to be your goal, but you might, 280-pound version of Adam might be like, if I was 199, I'd be way too skinny, right? But like the version of 200-pound Adam that's doing 48K swings and 50K get-ups and snatching a 24 to 32K bell, like that's a different version than what the 280-pound guy might perceive to be skinny, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Adam, I'm curious about your strength, like how you feel from a functional strength capacity standpoint. I know you said you were a CrossFit guy, and it sounds like you probably did that quite a bit. And I'm going to assume you lifted weights that were significantly heavier than you're probably lifting with the kettlebells. Do you feel the same level of strength? Do you feel stronger, less strong, more? Like how does that compare in your mind?
So I guess from a functional fitness standpoint, I think that I'm actually in a better place now, training smarter with lighter weights, and then where I was doing, cleans and snatches and like running a juggernaut program and like
Mm.
not being able to walk downstairs for a week. That's like, like I have not been sore one day that I've been doing this program. And that is probably one of the biggest factors for me of sticking with it and staying consistent with it is that I haven't overtrained and it's been sustainable for me. So I think that for me is the most important thing that's kept me going and able to be consistent.
That's great, dude. That truly is music to my ears. I mean, obviously, a lot of guys I think come to us totally sedentary, and so there's probably some soreness at the start, like when they like their hamstrings or whatever. But that is kind of the point, right? Is like you don't have to lift incredibly heavy weights. Now, you might be like the amount of weight you're lifting in like a Turkish get up, for instance, maybe it's 70 pounds, maybe it's 80 pounds. So you're like, okay, well, if I'm doing a 300-pound back squat versus an 80-pound Turkish get up, like obviously significantly more weight with the back squat, but like Well, an 80-pound Turkish get up isn't easy. You don't feel like you're using light weight when you're doing that, right? Even though it's not the same amount of absolute weight, but it's just different. You know, you're training in a different way. So that's really cool to hear that you haven't had the soreness, because I think a lot of guys fall off because they can't continue to put in the effort because it just hurts their body. Like that they need more recovery in between. It's like, well, you got to train consistently. You got to be motivated to get back in there. So good for you, man. When were you doing CrossFit at your height? Like, how old were you when you were like really into the CrossFit and seeing great results?
So I was late 20s.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Okay. So a pretty decent gap,
Yeah,
but that's,
late
dude,
20s, early 30s.
come on, man. So and now you're 44 and you're like, I feel like I'm functioning in a better place than I was in my late 20s, early 30s at the height of my CrossFit.
Yeah.
Great.
I feel like it's kind of cliche on a lot of things where it's like, oh, I feel better than I did in my 20s. But honestly, I do feel better than I have ever felt, honestly, even in my teens. Like, I just,
Man,
yeah.
that's
Good for you,
amazing.
man. That's fucking great. Can we swear on this? Can we swear?
I think so.
That's fucking great.
I mean,
That's awesome.
I've heard you guys. I've been listening to the show, so I know you guys
Yeah.
are swearing all the time. So.
We're pretty foul mouthed. At least I am.
So, Adam,
Thanks,
for
Dad.
those
Not you. I'm talking about my actual dad. Thank you for all the swearing.
for those listening to this who are wondering about, who are on the outside looking in, and they're wondering about like the client experience, what is your, so you said I came to KT looking for coaching, looking for someone to hold me accountable. What has the experience been like for you since day one, going through onboarding, going through the program? Can you kind of paint the picture of your experience in KT?
It's I haven't there's nothing negative I can say about it. I will say that there have been times when I've struggled pretty hard, especially with diet and getting on track with that, and learning how to eat better was the biggest thing for me. But I've always felt like I've been supported by my coach, and if I have questions, as always, if it's not immediately, it's by the end of the day, I know he's got a ton of other things going on, so I don't expect anyone to really get back to me like right away, but generally he gets back to me pretty quickly, and you know has suggestions or will send a video or anything like that, and it makes me feel like I'm supported through the whole thing, which is also very important. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm answering the question, but
That's
I
okay.
mean, I'm curious about the diet side of things, though,
Yeah.
because you mentioned, that was very hard and challenging. And only 5 minutes ago, we learned that you've dropped, 50 plus pounds. So obviously, you've been able to make the adjustments necessary. What was like the hardest? Can you think back to what were some of the adjustments that you had to make that you felt like were the biggest levers?
I think it's just more of the snacking and kind of the boredom eating was a big thing for me. Like, I sit in front of my computer a lot. I'm working on playlists. I'm working on different things. I'm working on doing mashups and mixes and all these other things when I get home from work, and where I'm already sitting in front of the computer all day. So it's kind of that like mindless like eating that you don't really register that you're doing it, but you're just constantly doing that all day long. And I mean, I would gather that I'm probably eating like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
That was probably pretty normal for me.
Yeah.
And changing from that to, I think the initial goal was 2,500. That was a big one. And then I think it went down to 2,300, and then it went down to 2,100. And as soon as I hit 2,100, that's when everything just started. Like, it was just the landslide. So, yeah.
Nice. And are you still around 2100? Has your calorie intake changed at all?
So I'm kind of in maintenance mode right now,
Yeah.
just because it's snowboarding
Figured.
season, and
Yeah.
I'm going here and there. So I try to stay as close to 2,100 as possible. What I'm doing right now is I track through the day, and I'm usually about 1,000 calories left at the end of the day. So I'm
Yeah.
not really too worried about what I'm eating for dinner because I know
Yep.
that I have that extra.
Love that.
So if I go over a little bit, it's not a huge deal. I stay
Yeah.
under, great. But
That's a pro move, dude.
yeah,
I love that. Knowing that you got that budget for dinner, isn't that just the nicest thing? You know, you're just like, all right, I'm going to be able to eat myself to the point where I feel good. And yeah, that's awesome, man. So you went from eating somewhere in the 4 to 5K a day range, mindless snacking. Have you like eliminated your mindless snacking altogether? Have you found some like ways to snack at certain times or on certain things? What does that look like for you?
fruit. Mostly snacks are fruit, like blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. That's pretty much if I have a craving, I'll usually do like 50 to 100 grams of some sort of fruit. I always have like I always have a little container of them in my work fridge or somewhere. So
There you
it's
go.
easy to grab that and just be like, okay, I'm hungry. This will take care of it for a little bit. So that's how I've taken care of it. And that way I'm not eating pretzels or chips or, tons of granola, which everyone like thinks that, that's healthy, but it's not really at all. It's probably healthier to eat the chips than it is the granola, to be honest with you.
Right, right. Well, and if you're just mindlessly doing it, I mean, it might be granola itself might be okay, but if you eat 1,000 calories of granola on top of your 2,500 calories of regular food that you're eating for your meals, well, that's a problem because there's an excess of calories and you're going to gain weight. So it's like any food can be bad if you're over consuming food, and you got to figure out. So obviously replacing with berries. So as you've cut your calories down, you mentioned that the initial cut down to 2,500 was hard. And then you went 2,300 and 2,100. I know that those cuts are hard too. I mean, when you're at 2,500, you're like, okay, I can fit this in, I guess, but like I'm still hungry at the end of the day. And then you lose 200 calories and 200 calories again. Do you feel like you've adjusted? Like, did that feel really hard, or did eventually you just kind of got to the point where you're like, okay, this feels more normal now?
2,300, not so much. 2,100 was. I pushed back a little bit on that one. Like,
I won't do it,
Sorry,
coach.
Ray.
fit this in, like I feel like I'm in a good space, and it's kind of like, no, we should try this. And all right, and up your protein. So it was like 2,100 calories, and then 200 grams of protein. Was just like how do I achieve this? And so I'm always a person that likes a challenge, obviously.
Yes.
So at that point, it was I'm gonna make this into a game. I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to do the same thing or as close to the same thing every day and figure out whether I can keep doing this or not. So, and eventually it just became a habit.
Well done. Well
You
done.
won the game, man. That's such a great way to think about it, dude. Fantastic, man. I mean, and now you're at this point where you mentioned you're in maintenance mode, which is like you're doing what I think every guy wishes he could do, which is okay, I've shed the weight and now I'm in this sweet spot where like I eat the same things consistently throughout my day. And then I get to dinner and it's like, yeah, I might not be perfect and precise anymore, but you're not trying to cut weight anymore. So you don't need to be perfect and precise anymore. If you go 100 calories over, 200 calories over, even 300, 500 calories over, you're going to be just fine. You're not going to put that weight on. You're snowboarding, you're playing hockey, you're training with bells, you're eating high protein. Dude, you could just keep doing this for the next 30 fucking years and you're going to be fine. Like you won't gain the weight back unless you just start mindlessly snacking 1,000, 2,000 extra calories every day and, uh, not exercising. But like, why would you do that? You just said that you felt better than you have maybe ever. So it's like, okay, you won the game, man.
Well, what bells are you using now, Adam, when you train? Like what size bells are you now using now compared to when you started?
So I just started doing the one-handed swings, which has been a challenge of body mechanics and how the stance width and all those things. But my heaviest swing bell, it was 70 for a two-handed. I've played. I just got an 80 pound, so I played around with that. That's really not much to me. I got that because of a lot of the deadlifts. I was like, 70 is not enough. Even 80 is kind of not enough, but it's better, especially if I'm loading my hamstrings, that like and actually doing the proper, basically good morning style, So 60, 62 is my heaviest get up, which one side's obviously better than the other, but it's doable, and I'm pretty sure I've done that for a double. So
Love it.
Like I will say that, sometimes like I take extra care doing the get ups because, having that weight laying on your back with that above, like right above your face is one of those things where I'm like, this is serious.
Yeah.
If I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing and I'm not like being very intentional, this could be really bad. It's one of those things where you have to concentrate and you have to pay attention. Like, can't cut the corners.
Thousands and thousands of reps, and then it kind of semi-passive.
Right. But even still, you gain, heavy enough weights, and
you gotta always focus.
I love to hear that at the start with Ray, you're like, let's get going, man. Come on, I know how to do this. And now you're like, now when I sit back, I'm like, oh, I really got to pay attention. It's like that shift in like, your approach and your mindset sounds pretty deep.
Yeah, and I guess my view on Turkish get-ups to begin with was more of building shoulder stability. Because I guess my coach at that point was more of that. If you have shoulder problems, we're gonna do lightweight Turkish get-ups, and that's kind of how you remedy the movement issues in your shoulders. So I never really considered doing a Turkish get-up at any heavier weights than maybe a 44. So I had never really tried to do one any heavier than that. And so the first time I did that was kind of like, oh, I guess I can do this. Yeah.
I love that. Adam, you've seen your side-by-sides, I'm assuming. Your side-by-sides of when you started, where you are now. I mean, they're amazing. Like, they're awesome. Especially at the end of the challenge. I think Ray had posted at the end of the challenge, and all of us were like, shit. Like, wow. When you look at that, how do you feel about that guy on the right who's like gone through the transformation? Like, how is that guy different than the guy on the left?
I mean, I was pretty sad. That person was pretty miserable and just not happy with life at all. Just kind of going through the motions, like even since December 8th, I think I've leaned out a little bit. Like, it's I don't know. It's wild to me that like it happened so fast.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I was just miserable, and I'm happy that I'm not in that space anymore. And I like kind of kicking myself. Why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I sit idle for so long? I was in a pretty bad place health wise, and I was genuinely trying, but I knew that I needed to make that change, and I needed to getting help isn't always the easiest thing to like ask for, or admit that you need, but I needed that help, and I didn't know what kind of help I needed or where to get that, and so it was to a certain degree that it's kind of a like you're just playing roulette in a lot of ways.
Man.
You might get into something that's good. You might get into something that's not great. And, it's more of experimentation. And like, I'm very lucky that the chance that I took was the correct decision.
Amen, dude.
Yeah.
Amen. And you're the correct guy too. I mean, because we have guys who join this program and they don't get the results that you've gotten. So it's a two-way, it has to be a match for both people. So whatever you brought into this in terms of your attitude and your readiness and your willingness, I think you've said a few things that I thought were really compelling to me, which is like, I looked at it like a game. right? And I'm going to see how well I can do this. Like that type of attitude of like being willing to say, no, I don't actually know. I'm going to listen to this coach, right? No, okay, that's fine. I want to go now, but I'm going to listen to Ray and I'm going to work my technique first because I don't want to get hurt. Like you had the raw ingredients, right? Which good for you, man. The adjustments that you've made and the results that you've achieved have been outstanding. And hearing where you were. So have you been able to get off your medications or are you, and if that's too personal, you don't have to tell us, but I'm curious as to,
So I have reduced the diabetes medication that I'm on. I'm still not 100% out of the woods, but my A1C is, I think I was at a 12 or something like that to begin with, or maybe even higher. So I'm back down into the pre-diabetes level. So I've been plummeting in that. So
good for you, man.
I have no doubt that within the next year I'll be able to get back into a normal range for that.
Good for you, dude.
Blood pressure has gotten better. That's kind of a family history thing, so I don't think I'll ever really get off of that. But it's that I'm willing to accept that. It's more of the diabetes thing and the making sure I'm not overtaxing my body by taking medications that I don't need to be on. And if I can self-correct, then that's what I'm going to do.
Amazing, man. Have you had to really be careful with your carbohydrate intake then throughout the program? Has that been a factor with the diabetes meds or?
No, I know that so I'm no stranger to paleo diets or anything like that. I was strict paleo for 2 years, so that I can cut out sweeteners and all of those things. I know how to cook so that I don't have to really deal with any of those things. So I cut all of that out and just kind of concentrated on, if I'm going to have a carb, there needs to be a balance to this. So there needs to be a fiber element, there needs to be a protein element, or there needs to be something that is more beneficial than or outweighs the carb per benefit, so that balance between those things. So yeah. And I'm a sucker for anything that's a burrito. I'll put
Who isn't?
You put anything in burrito form, I'll eat it, bro.
True.
Now we learned the real truth. I'm a burrito guy.
So if you haven't tried them, the Ole wraps, they're amazing. The wellness wraps, those things
Nice.
are a savior for me.
Dude, don't mind if I do. I don't know those, but I love a burrito myself. So fillet wrap. Noted.
Yep.
Man, incredible.
Adam, do you feel like what you've been doing compared to what you've done and tried in the past, do you feel like this is like, I can see myself doing this longer term? I can see myself doing this for the next 6 months, year, longer than that.
At this point, I get home and that's what I just want to go work out.
Yeah, I love that.
We're actually in my workout time right now, so
we won't cut into
go,
it
guys.
much longer.
The bells are calling my name. I love that, man.
So I've got my setup. It's kind of become that odd calm after my day where I get to come home and that's my time. That's where I get to go and I get to have my time where I get to do something for myself. And so some people come home and have a drink and don't want to be talked to. I go and work out. So
yeah.
Yeah.
A different kind of drink.
Yeah.
Exactly. A kettlebell. Great, man. Good for you. Well, couple things. First off, I want to say thank you, truly, because you told us some shit today, man. And like you were willing to open up. And I know that's not easy. You mentioned asking for help isn't easy. Telling your story is not easy either, man. So mad respect from that angle.
Truly.
Also, just your results have been incredible, dude. Like you may not know this and you may never know it, but you're inspiring people with your results. So like that's awesome, man. And being willing to share your story like that, all that stuff, man, it means a lot to the business. And I'm grateful that you're willing to share your story, truly.
Yeah. Well, And I can say the same thing. I'm very thankful to both of you for starting this. I mean, it's, and being real about things. Like that is that true. I've said it before. Like that's a big thing for me, is just like the honesty behind it. I mean, even in the videos where you're like, look, this isn't cheap. This is something if you're going to do this, you better want to do it. So
Yeah.
that's that right there. That was like, okay, I think they're being serious about this. This isn't just another gimmick. This isn't just another thing that someone's trying to sell me. It's something that's real. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the approach that you guys have taken with that. So
Heck yeah, man.
Thank you.
What
Adam.
about we always give a chance for the guy to just say a word to his coach. We know you're working with Ray, who's got a massive neck. That's what I'll say about Ray. Well, bulldog. He's a pit bull. But anyway, so you get a chance. We'll put you on the spot to say whatever you want to say to Ray. You can curse him out for making you eat 2,100 calories. You can say whatever you want.
I mean, I'm nothing but thankful for Ray and the guidance he's given me. The conversations we have are always there's always some element of like ridiculously to it, which I always appreciate.
Not surprising.
It's not always so serious, and just it keeps it lighter, and it's like I'm gonna push you, but we're still gonna have fun, and that's what I really like about it.
Cool, man. Really good.
I like that.
Well, we're going to wrap it up with the fast action. So, Grant, what are what do we call it again? The lightning
I
round?
remember them. The lightning round? Yeah. If you could only do one kettlebell exercise for the rest of your days, what exercise would that be?
Ooh. I'm getting into the cleans, and I really love doing cleans. So they're kicking my ass trying to go up to heavier weights, but I'm up for the challenge. And I do love, like, that's the one, like, I love all weightlifting. I love strongman stuff. So just getting into the cleans has been.
That might be a first ever on the podcast. A guy chooses heavy double cleans, and I don't disagree with that. That's pretty good.
It makes sense given the Atlas stone, though. I mean, this idea of getting something up to your, getting it into that position, it's very, very strong.
I mean, want to figure out a way to do a kettlebell grace? Let's do it.
Yeah, love that, dude.
All right, number 2, if you could only use one kettlebell weight for the rest of your life, what weight would you choose?
Right now it's 62. I want it to be 80. So
I like that.
It will be. And so it shall be.
28 to the 36. Love it. And then the last question, Adam, is if someone came to you and they were on the fence about kettlebell transformation, they're on the fence about joining, what advice would you give that individual?
I'd say forget about the cost. Think about how you want to live your life and how you want to feel. If you want to feel good and be able to live your life to the fullest, buy in, do it. There's nothing you really can't lose in it. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, hell right, indeed. I will copy Sean by saying thank you, man. Just thank you for taking the time and hopping on. This was the first time that both of us actually met you, got to talk to you.
Truly.
That's pretty cool. It's becoming more and more now that we'll have guys on the podcast that Sean or I haven't talked to, which is, it's really is a treat for us. Just thank you, man. And thank you for.
And now we're going to group text you nonstop. So just.
Correct.
Cool. Do it.
Prepare yourself.
Also, I heard that there was some sort of ski meetup thing that's in the works.
There should be.
Ooh.
Jason Walgren wants to get one going.
I'm up for.
Go.
We got to go out west though. We're not doing East Coast skiing.
I can't come. Well, honestly, the East Coast is better than.
That's true. That is true.
Colorado this year, or anything
out west
past the Rockies. Yeah, the only reason I couldn't come to the retreat this time is because it's snowboarding season. I gotta keep going.
Son of a gun.
I'll have to bring the retreat to you. That's what I have to do.
I mean, I told Ray, I was like, you put it in Colorado, I'll be there.
Good point. Next winter, we might want to consider that, because that'd be a fun way to do a retreat. Do a little ski snowboard retreat.
Been thinking about that for a long time. We should just make
Oh,
it
well,
happen.
we should indeed.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, thank you very much, buddy. We won't take up any more of your workout time.
I'm gonna
Gotta go get it in.
do that now.
Let's go. Let's go. Have fun doing double cleans, man.
That's
I
right.
will. Today it's my Tuesday in what am I?
In Mastery Bridge?
Tuesday is
Bridge?
infamous, I believe.
It's the complex day, which I love.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Like,
Brutal. This is the day. You earn it today. Good shit, man.
Hi, buddy.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Till next time.